Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. We've got an LGA 1155 socket, I think this is, that has some mangled pins in the corner. So this happens when if you're removing a CPU and you're not careful, the corner can drop, the corner of the CPU drops, and just the weight or the slight motion of your hand will just gouge a load of pins out of place. So yeah. This is not the end of the world. I think this one may well be salvageable. What it's going to take is a very steady hand and a pair of tweezers. So we're going to take this board out and we're going to try and recover it. So first things first is don't try and attempt to straighten out pins while the board is in situ. It's just, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to be able to hold your hand steady enough. It's just a bad idea and you may make it worse. So the first thing I'm going to do is tear this thing apart and get that motherboard out. So let's do that and we'll move from there. LED strips. Ooh, there we go. This is a nice motherboard. I really hope that we can save this. Okay, right. So next thing I'm going to do is set up a test bench environment so I can test the board as I go, because this may take a couple of attempts. Now, if you've only got like 1 or 2 bent pins, then I would probably say you may not need the test bench environment. But we've got a fair bit of work that needs to be done on this board. So what I'm doing here is I'm just prepping the board so I can actually turn it on and see if it posts without having to fit it to the case again. Okay, right, let's rock and roll. I've just sat down to look at this a little bit closer, and this one's worse than I thought it was going to be. But no guts, no glory. Well, we don't even need guts for this. This board is dead if we don't save it, so here goes nothing. So we've got this patch around here, then also we've got another pin out down here, and we've got something that looks out of place in that area, but I don't think it's enough to stop post, so I'm going to leave that one alone and see if we actually need to touch it first. So let's start out with that fella there actually, because I think that one's going to be an easy one, because it's just a single pin. So the way these things work, each one is a little leg that's sticking up at an angle, like my tweezers are, and when the CPU goes in, it bends them down like that. So it's just a little arm. So we want all of them to be sticking up at a diagonal angle. So let's go. Those tweezers are too big. That's too big. Have I got anything smaller? Yeah. What do we got? We got a 1mm. Which one was that I was just holding? Yeah, I think the 1mm might do it. Whoop. And I also need a Stanley blade as well, something super sharp. There we go. That one's not quite sticking up as much as I would like it to, but I think it's aligned. What about that? You look wrong. I'm just going to have to push the camera out of the way a sec just so I can get an eyeball in there. Alright. I'm knocking a few pins astray there, but I think those are roughly lined up. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. It doesn't look perfect, but I think it'll do. Alright. I think we're in a position to give that a try. As you can see, it still looks a little bit rough, but all the pins are roughly in alignment now. They're sticking up at slightly different angles to the other pins, so you know, when we twist the board, you can see on the shift there that the pins are not perfect. However, they're all brushed into the same direction. So when the chip sits down on top of them and gets pressed into the array, we've got half a chance of that working. So here comes our tested chip. So the first thing I'm going to do is just press that in, and I'm going to release that again, take it out and inspect, and just see if any of the pins have gone massively out of alignment. Again, not perfect, but I think it's worth the shot. Let's power that up and see what happens. Alright, here goes. Bam! First time. Now, just to make sure that that's a sure thing, because the memory controller is built into the CPU and we want to make sure that there's no memory errors or anything like that, I'm now going to set up a test environment and I'm going to leave this thing running mem test like overnight or something like that. Just to make sure that there's no problems. So we're just going to plug in a CPU fan so it's actually got some cooling. Find my USB DVD drive. Plug you in. And we'll run up mem test. Whoop. So we're going to want that. Power. And we'll just let that get started and make sure everything's okay. And off it goes. We've got some weird cursors flashing around. I don't remember seeing those there. But there's no actual errors, so I don't particularly care. Good. Right, I'm going to leave that to run. And I've got cooling on that CPU, so I should just be able to leave this running unattended now. I will come back a bit later on and just make sure that's okay. But if you don't hear from me again, then I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.